This building that I'm in right now in Muscle City, has absolutely no use. They just talk about shipping cargo, and it's like nothing ever happens in that building. They should do something about that in black and white too. So I've been gone for a while. I was at Ottawa for the past week or so that's why I've been uploading for a bit. But I'm back now, so happy to bring this back. At least they had this back while I was in Ottawa, so set up with the Wi-Fi and everything just fine. So yes, this is a local out-of-town match. I wasn't in my element. I had to use my laptop and whatever. So it's a UU battle, of course, because that's what I like to do against DrakeCPKMN, I guess is how you pronounce it. So using, I think this is a new team. I think this is the first time I've uploaded with this team, actually. So we're gonna see how it goes. And I decided to get my Bronzong. Seeing there's no spinners, I might as well just get my rocks up ASAP. So that's what I decided to do. He ends up going into a Bishop. I'm not sure if he was predicting this lead. Either way, he's gonna set up the substitute on the free substitute because I end up just going for the rocks first turn, which kind of sucks. I do have the Earthquake, so I can still break his sub fairly easily. He ends up going for the Swords Dance, so making this thing kind of a threat because this thing has like the second strongest Sucker Punch in the game. Actually tied for the second because Honchkrow and Bishop have the same attack. So highest priority is what I'm trying to say in the game. So Earthquake breaks the sub, but I still have to deal with the +2 Bishop, so it's still kind of a threat. And so going for the sub again here, not sure what he was predicting. I think why he's doing this is because he has the Sucker Punch, and I guess he's trying to make sure I don't predict around the Sucker Punch. I think he's predicting me to switch because we both know he has Sucker Punch, and I could easily predict around it. So I decided because I Earthquake there, he's probably going to Sucker Punch here, knowing that's probably his best stab to hit Bronzong with anyway. So I go into Porygon 2, knowing I can get that thing in for free, because that's how Sucker Punch works, so that's pretty awesome. End up getting the Special Attack Rise, which was my kind of plan. I'm going to go for the Discharge here, knowing it probably won't kill, but I'm kind of hoping for the Parahacks, and he ends up going for the Iron Head. Thankfully, doesn't flinch me, and I am able to get the Discharge off, but in return, I do not get the Parahack, so that's fine. Just going to let P2 die here, don't really need it for much. I went for the recover just in case he felt like going for the Sucker Punch randomly, but he had no reason to, so another Iron Head's going to take out my Porygon 2, and this Bishop's kind of getting the lead on me a little bit early, which kind of sucks, but still not that big of a deal. I'm going to go into my Blastoise now, because nothing on my team really wants, like, all my things that can outspeed Bishop would prefer not to take a Sucker Punch at this point, so just going to go into my Blastoise because it's my bulkiest thing, and I can just live a hit and go for the Skull. It ends up critting me off the Iron Head, which really does suck, because survivability and whatnot, but still, that crit was not nice. So, it killed it off with the Scald, and it's gone now, so that's nice. He's going to go into his days off now. Fearing the Thunderbolt, just going to go straight into my Nidoking, predicting that. It was kind of a risky play, because I was really fearing they may have just gone straight for the Psychic, but I figured that he'd either go for that or just set up the rocks if this thing has it or not, so ends up T-bolting, switches out right away, which makes me believe the thing may be choiced, I'm not sure yet, and I'm just going to go for the safe Sludge Wave since it's my most powerful attack to hit whatever wants to come in. The only thing I really can't hit is Flygon and Gligar, so I'm gonna go for that. It does a decent chunk to the Suicune here, and I'm just gonna switch out here, not wanting to take any water moves, but I probably should have just stayed in there because it more likely was just gonna set up on me, but he ends up just going straight for the Scald on my Bronzong, not really fearing anything, like, damage-wise, it's not gonna be doing that much, but he ends up critting me on that one too, so wow, he's getting a lot of crits I didn't even realize. So I'm just going to Toxic it because I do have the Toxic, and that's going to wither this thing down a lot, and I was thinking that he would not be one of them rest-tucking coons, but turns out, a little bit of spoiler, but he kind of is, which is why he's going to stay in on the Toxic, which I should have figured the reason why he was staying in so long was that he probably has the rest, but leave it to me to not realize that. So just gonna go for the Earthquake, I believe. Here it's my most strongest attack on the stupid Suicune. I'm gonna go for it, and it does little damage. About as little as his Scalds are doing to me, so he's still getting whittled down by the poison. And here I was like, okay, he stayed in for a bit. He knows Scald won't do anything. I was figuring he didn't have the rest, so I'm just gonna go for the Toxic, thinking if he's gonna switch, he's gonna switch now. So I go for the Toxic. He ends up staying in and just going for the Scald, so that pretty much confirms that he's staying in for the long haul because he does have the rest. Which, again, I really should have seen coming, and I probably should have phased him out here. Actually, I don't have Bronzong can't phase. What am I talking about? I'm stupid. It's been that long since I've narrated, I guess. So, yeah. Nothing much is going to happen here, just more stall, because now he's going to set us back straight to square one and go for the rest, and this is just not fun. So, let's go on a quick tangent. Mother's Day was like at Sunday, so that was kind of fun. I was actually out of town for Mother's Day, which makes me feel kind of bad since, I didn't actually see my mother on Mother's Day, but Mother's Day is always a thing that happens, and, I always feel like more of an obligation to just love your mother always, instead of just waiting for this day to do it because your mothers are cool people. So, yeah. There's my tangent for the battle. Switching out here, gonna go to my Blastoise, figuring, okay, I'm just gonna phase this thing out. But he actually goes for the Sleep Talk here and gets the Roar, which does suck. And he's gonna phase me into Mega, which is kind of nice since it is one of my more powerful attackers. If I could have chosen anything, I probably would have chosen Victini. But yeah, Mega's probably my second choice for this Suicune, because I know Bug Buzz should be a 2 KO if this thing's invested physically, and it is a 2 KO, which is pretty awesome. But unfortunately, he is going to Sleep Talk another Roar, I believe here, and gonna roar me back into my Blastoise, which is fine because I can still phase this thing out, and that's the whole point of me bringing this thing in the first place. So, gonna go straight for the Roar, because why not? And yeah, he's gonna wake up here, go for the Skull just to get some damage off. It's not gonna be doing anything really, but it doesn't get the burn thankfully enough, and I'm gonna be able to phase this thing out, so it's gonna be a lot easier to deal with when it comes back in, hopefully. Or I'm going to Togekiss, which is really nice, because that thing takes a ton of Stealth Rock damage, and I don't want to take a T-Wave, even though Blastoise really wouldn't have minded. There's no real good use for me to stay in here, since he could probably flinch me to death. Since I do see the leftovers, I'm pretty sure it's standard Paraflinching set. So I'm going to go to Nidoking, predicting the T-Wave. He ends up making a pretty good play, just go straight for the Air Slash. Fearing my Nidoking may come in. And this is why I would really like I prefer Life Orb Nidoking, is because Scarf Nidoking can't even 2-hit KO this thing, which is like, it's close to a 2 KO, but he can still stall me out with the roosts. And, oh god, I freaking hate Scarf Nidoking. It just doesn't do enough damage. It's so annoying. Jeez. It's still a decent revenge killer. It's still no Flygon, but it's just one of those Scarfers that can't be T-Wave, which is nice. But it just never does enough damage for me to be impressed by it. I stay in Thunderbolting again, knowing I gotta take one extra Air Slash, and I'm just gonna actually save my Nidoking, because I still kind of need it for that Gligar. Since my P2 died kind of early, my Nidoking is one of the few things that can actually damage it a lot. So Gligar comes in, predicting T-Bolt. I'm going to switch out now, fearing the Earthquake or the Stealth Rocks to come in, so I go into my Mega to get them in before the rocks come out. Ends up pulling a nice double switch and goes back into his Flygon, predicting Mega to come in, which is really smart on his part, but I'm going to have to switch out again because I don't want to take a Stone Edge, so I just go into my Bronzong because I really have no use for this thing at this point in the game because it's burned. And by the way, I'm taking only in 16th burn damage because I'm heat proof, if you're wondering about that. If you're wondering why burn wasn't doing much, because I have heat proof. So heat proof has burn damage for those who don't know, but it doesn't have thick fat. When you have thick fat, it doesn't have burn damage, but heat proof does. So he locks himself into Outrage, which is awesome, because now I can just go into my Blastoise. No, I can take a Scarf Outrage and just hit him with a nice beam. That's going to take him out. So I get rid of his probable Scarf for really easily, which is awesome, which is why Flygon should never go for Earth Outrage ever, because it just ends up dying like that, and that's why Scarf Flygon I don't like. I still kind of need one for Yu, but I'm just lazy, so, Togekiss comes in. I figured he's going to Roost here. Probably the only reason he brought it in was just to get a free Roost off. So I decided to predict that and go for the Scald since I know he'll do more after he loses the Flying type. That and the fact that I am in Torrent range, so he'll do even more. And I'm kind of fishing for the burn at the same time. So yeah, Scald does a decent chunk thanks to the Torrent that I'm in. And I do end up getting the burn, which is going to help lower this thing's overall survivability. But it's not the fact that I really need this thing to be low. It's just I need a free switch. Like, nothing wants to get Thunder Waved and nothing wants to take an Air Slash. You just gotta wait for something to die. At this point, I figure since Blastoise got rid of the Flygon, I really don't need it for anything anymore, so I'm just going to let that thing die. Not really worried about Stealth Rocks this late in the game anyways, so I'm going to go into Victini now, since I know he can kill off with the Fusion Bolt. Predict him to go into his Gligar here and go for the U-turn, but he ends up making an awesome play. Stays in, predicting me to overpredict or something, or maybe just thinking he could live a hit. Anyways, going to go into my Nidoking, thinking he's probably just going to T-Wave, and thank God he did, because that was a huge ass prediction for me going into Nidoking after I saw that he stayed in there. At this range, I'm pretty sure an Ice Beam will take it out. Go for the Ice Beam just in case he wants to switch into his Gligar, because I'm more scared of that thing getting a free switch than his Suicune. So that's why I went for the Ice Beam with the Thunderbolt. But I can go into a Suicune, knowing that I'm probably locked in on the Ice Beam. Worst he can do is just rest off on me. Not really too worried, since I do have my Banded Victini, which I know can easily 2 KO with the Fusion Bolt. Go into that thing, ends up just going straight off for the Scald, which isn't even a 2 KO on Victini, which is awesome. Right here, I have another prediction to make. I can either predict him to go into his Gligar and go for the U-turn or flare or the Recreate, or I can just predict his Suicune to stay in and go for the Fusion Bolt. I thought he was gonna stay in, so I decided to go for the Fusion Bolt. Ends up switching into his Gligar, which really does suck, so I have to switch again. And he's gonna be able to get his rocks up, even though it's late game. It's still gonna hamper my team. I did predict this pretty nicely and go into my Mega. That or was predicting the Earthquake doesn't make that much of a difference. Pretty confident that Bug Buzz can kill at this range, even with the Violet, because I do have Tinted Lens and Specs, so I decided to just go straight for it. He has to fodder something at this point, because nothing on this team can really take on Mega at this point. So yeah, Specs Bug Buzz is gonna take out this weekend at that range, which is awesome. Yamega is looking really nice here. Ends up going into his Azelf. Just gonna leave my I left my Yamega here as fodder because I know it can't take a psychic or a flamethrower of any time, but he has the Psy Shock, which is really odd since Yamega has a really bad special defense and his physical defense is actually really good. So he should have gone for any special move. Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, that would have killed me. Psyshock not killing me. That was just a huge misplay on his part. Didn't matter at the end of the game because I still had enough to clean up the rest of his team, but now Yamega's just gonna kind of go through the rest of his team. His last is Gligar. Like I said, that thing can't take a Specs Tinted Lens Bug Buzz, even with the Violite. And that is gonna make it be the match. That is a good UU battle. Again, that was pretty fun. I had some it was a decent match. I had another OU battle that I was thinking of uploading, but it was just kind of short, and I really didn't feel like it was that interesting at the end of the game. So, yeah, I ended up saving this one for my one match in Ottawa, because I only could save one match, which really sucked. But, yeah, see you guys later.